got your attention now, did I? Okay. Did you guys think I was clumsy? I bet you guys did. If I hadn't fallen, would you all still thought the same? That's the thing about assumptions here. How about something else? Have you guys ever been to a party? Like a wedding party or a family event of sorts? Okay, I'm sure most of you have. Point is, it's the kind of setting where you're surrounded by new faces. People you know absolutely nothing about. And right there, you scan the room, you take in the expressions, the posture, the way that the people carry themselves. Right there, your head starts filling in the empty and smallest details about each person, little stories and judgments about who they might be. And in that same party, you probably see someone who's maybe standing alone. Maybe they have their arms crossed, and maybe they're a little bit stiff. And something in you would immediately assume, oh, I don't think I can approach this person. I should probably back off. So you don't even bother talking to them. But what if it turned out that they are one of the kindest people you could have met, and they were just really nervous like how anyone else might be? That's the thing about assumptions. They're like shortcuts. They're quick, they're easy to make, and they're convenient. And we do it all the time. For example, we would take a glimpse at someone's facial expressions, or maybe hear a certain tone in their voice, or see their body language, and boom, you immediately think, oh, I know what they're thinking, feeling, and planning right now. And it would feel so certain, and it feels like you're really going onto something real. But those quick judgments, they can misguide us from going to the right path. They're keeping us from going into those chances, those opportunities, those experiences that might have given us, who knows, a better future or a better route. It's like setting in invisible walls, missing the connections that could have been amazing, but missing them just because we thought we had it all figured out. Assumptions influence what we do and who we connect with, or even the risk we either take or miss. Assumptions are shaping your lives without you even noticing it. Think about it. Just how many times have you let assumptions control or dictate your choices? How many times have you let it control your life? Well, how many times have you backed away or hold yourself back from trying something new because, oh, what if I messed up? Oh, what if I can't make it? Oh, what if? Now I'm here to make you look back and remember those moments, those decisions that were based on assumptions, and ask yourselves, were they holding me back? Were they holding me back on experiencing one of the greatest opportunities of my life? Okay, now let's just take a step back. What exactly is an assumption? An assumption essentially is when your body has the need to make sense of situations where information are incomplete. You fill in the blanks with your own narratives, and those are all your narratives without actual facts in it. And the problem is, this is what you look like when you're assuming stuff. You assume what would happen or what would be ahead of you without actually knowing the facts. And the problem is these assumptions or these stories you end up with are stories that match up with what you expect or what you believe. And we accept these opinions or beliefs as true without proof. And we do this very often, and also unconsciously. Someone put it very well by Dr. Marcia Sarita, who says, assumptions are the inner world that colors the way we see and understand our world, but also distorts things from us. When we let assumptions and confuse them with reality, we're not just misinterpreting someone's actions or someone's thoughts, we're also limiting ourselves from clearly responding or understanding that other person. And right now, how would you guys think about the last time you maybe had an assumption? I'm sure you've all had a lot of assumptions in the past, but I see a lot of students here. I can give you a scenario. Let's say that there was an opportunity to join a school club like MUN or be part of the student council or prefect. But before you sign up, you go think like, wait a minute, I don't think I'm good enough to lead. I don't think I'm brave enough to speak in front of a crowd. I think I'm way too shy. So why do I even bother trying? So you didn't even bother trying to sign up for any of those clubs or any of those opportunities. But what if you didn't? What if you did sign up for them? And what if it turned out you were actually really good at leading people, and then you were actually good at public speaking, and it was just something you needed more time to master with? But to be fair, assumptions aren't all as bad as I seem to make it. Well, like most things in life, assumptions come with their own sets of pros and cons. In fact, assumptions can save us time and energy. Like, for example, you going to this restaurant based on all the good online reviews without overthinking it. And then you go there and you end up having a great meal. But the problem is when these assumptions box us in. On that same example, you avoiding a restaurant just because of one bad review, and then you end up missing a really good meal on that same instance. But in real life, the stakes are much higher than whether or not you're missing a good meal. You're missing on really good and high opportunities, connections with people who might have cared for you because you're relying too much on these assumptions. And when we let assumptions guide us, we set up mental roadblocks, like closing doors in our mind without even stepping through it first. So, for example, you judging people without fully understanding them, which stops you from building genuine connections or really building long-lasting friendships with others. And I'm sure there are students out there who have this certain problem. Back when I was younger, I've always had many assumptions go through me. In primary, I would look at someone, they were really tall, they looked really timid, and they looked like they had a lot of friends. And a part of me was way too scared to approach them because I thought they wouldn't like me because of the way that I am. And so I never ended up talking to them until all the way back to secondary. I went up to them and I was like, hi. Oh, in context, they were my seatmate. And they turned out to be really nice, and now we're actually very close friends. Little things like this are prevented because you're relying too much on these assumptions, which is why I say it's so crucial to always point this out and avoid doing or thinking about them. So, how do we actually break free from these assumptions? How do we stop them from their tracks? Well, in Model UN, typically we would use acronyms to keep our solutions clear and have other people easily remember them. So I was in MUN, and similarly, I would have a solution for how to break free from assumptions. I call it LAC, L-A-C. So technically it's kind of like cutting the layers of assumptions. What I mean by this is so each letter stands for all the steps you take to break free from assumptions. For example, L means to listen actively. It's not just about listening, but it's about listening to understand. Next time you hear someone talking, hold off jumping conclusions. Don't just prepare your responses in advance. Listen without the fill-in-the-blank mindset. Keep listening until you truly understand them. Only until then, you can really provide them a proper response. A, for asking questions. When you're unsure, just ask. For example, if you're not sure what someone feels about this certain project or this certain work you did, or for example, you're not sure what your teacher feels about your assignment, you can walk to them and you can just ask, "Oh, sir, I feel a bit unsure whether this assignment is good or not. Can you give me some corrections that I could do to improve them?" These little things can stop assumptions on their tracks and move you for a better outcome. C, check your biases. Take a step back and ask where your assumptions are coming from. Make it a habit to pause and ask your assumptions. Are these based on an experience that probably doesn't apply to that situation? Why might I be missing out on what I'm thinking about this situation? Rather than always assuming how things will go because, oh, in the past, this happened before. So imagine if we all just started questioning our assumptions a little more. I'm not asking you to question every single assumption, but before you truly assume, just take a little bit step back to think about it before you come to a conclusion. If we approach more people, more opportunities, and take more decisions with less overthinking, and approach them with curiosity rather than certainty, when we do this, we're opening up new doors for ourselves. Opening up new doors not just to experiences, but also to people, connections, opportunities, and even on the experiences that you might have not discovered yet because you were relying too much on assumptions. So the next time you feel the urge to assume, pause and ask, what would I have found out if I just asked instead? It's very simple. It's nothing much, but it can prevent you from doing and missing out on all of these beautiful, rich experiences. I'm telling you, it's all worth it. Yes, assumptions are part of being human, but they don't have to control us. When we break free from them, we open ourselves up to many new things. And what happens when you're opening up to many new things? You grow as a person. You grow and then you expand your world. And you can also do this the same to others. You can also, if someone's struggling, and then someone's asking you, as your friend perhaps, you can give them a helping hand if you feel like they're struggling with, let's say, an assumption too. And yes, assumptions can also motivate us. But yes, they can also set us up for disappointment or anxiety. So the real question is, how do we actually balance this? How do we use assumptions without letting them control us? Aside from the lack situation, one way is to be constantly checking on yourself. As in, next time you catch yourself making an assumption, just ask yourself, oh, is this really true, or is this just a story I'm telling myself? Or what might I be missing out from holding on to this belief? Is this helping me, or is this holding me back? It's a very simple check-in, but trust me, it will make a huge difference. In this quote that I really like, in the words of Wayne Dyer, when you judge someone, you do not define them, you define yourselves. So, don't judge yourselves or others based on assumptions. Let yourself be curious, open, and willing to see what's really possible. And again, it's better knowing that you've tried and you've put effort in it rather than not doing it at all, or rather than just thinking, what if? And thank you for listening. Go out there and live beyond your assumptions. Take that chance. even if it feels like a gamble, because the rewards will surprise you. Thank you.